Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unsupervised Consequences, Day 22. I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel, and I am your host. What I'm talking about today is something really important. What I've been going through in my last series was explaining how I went from over 450 pounds, and at that time, I was going on vacation. I had left the country at 289 pounds. I came back 16 pounds higher, and so I've been doing this program now just to kind of show how I can duplicate my success. So I lost that weight. Now I'm down to 279. So things are really moving. It's very exciting. But a lot of this has to do with some of the difficulties that arise on a daily basis or things you learn through experience. And a lot of what I've discussed has been around mindset. Then it comes to learning about food and fasting and all those kind of things, how they contribute to my overall success in this endeavor. And realistically, I am still on that path. It's not like I've completed anything. I still have quite a ways to go. So I really am talking about today. It's the statement around people say, if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. And that whole idea is that when you are surrounded by negative people, they will breed negativity into you. When you're surrounded by positive people, they will keep that positivity going. Now, that's not necessarily the only component or some of the only factors in the whole experience, but it is one of the key components to how you grow and expand and everything. So, one of the things I've been experiencing, and that's why I brought it up, was that um, I am solely developing and becoming more versatile and trying to learn, doing more, and that draws in certain people. And certain people have questions. Other people just are like, hey, they want to be part of that positivity, and those are wonderful things. But in the same sense, it's one of the key components is that you have to, while appreciating that support, still focus on your goal because ultimately it kind of relies on you. So one of those things like today. So I did throughout this, a lot of people have asked, what's my goal when it comes to my weight and everything like that. And I explained that throughout my entire life, anytime I focused on a specific number or specific, like this was what I had to reach or this body shape, whatever it was, or lifting, anything like that, was I found that it was a lot more difficult to maintain positivity and to uh, roll with the obstacles that may come up. And especially when it comes to a number, I'll be honest with you. I explained that I went on in my last series, which is Where the Rest of Me Go. Um, when I was 19, I went on a thing up in where I'm in Canada, in Toronto, Canada. There's a doctor called Dr. Bernstein. He does a diet where it's pretty much medically supervised starvation. It's extremely brutal on your body, but in 3 months, I lost 92 pounds. It's amazing. I was like, wow, I'm so thin. I got down to 242 pounds. I proceeded to destroy my health again as I had learned nothing, had not put any hard work into it, just a couple months of willpower, nothing and balloon up. And eventually I was over 450 pounds. And now I'm doing this. And this is now just all on my own with my own, just working out every day. Not in the beginning was not, it was just changing how I lived, how I ate, how I did everything, and also changing my mindset. But with that, one of those goals uh, was to be able to do a chin up unaided. So today, I've been playing around with the idea of. So I had a chin up bar built outside, just out of 2x4s. It's a little bit bigger in structure. It's not exactly what you need, but it's close enough for me, just because I'm a little larger and giant clown hands and stuff. So that being said, one of the key things was that I just tried to hang. So I videotaped it, I made it a reel, and people are enjoying it. A lot of comments, a lot of support, and it was wonderful. One of the key components with that was that immediately I've had multiple people reach out and go, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Would you like some help with that? And sure enough, actually, two people that I very much respect their counsel in a lot of things. They've proven to be quite resourceful and considerate. Both gave me the same advice, and it was just kind of step by step of how to proceed with that goal that it may not be as far away as I thought it would be. So, that being said, it's quite an interesting experience where in my life, most of the support that I get with regards to achieving goals has not been as not I don't want to say not as positive, but not really focusing on the good goals, but focusing on things that in the long term were quite uh, difficult and didn't help my situation. So I'm sure everyone means well and everything like that, but realistically, I definitely had a problem for most of my life, and I'm trying to fix that in the long run. And it's not an easy thing. It's a difficult venture, and it's going to be for the rest of my life. So that being said, I couldn't change the people around me, so I changed the people around me, and by changing that mindset, changing the relationships I had, and moving forward, and staying committed to what I was trying to do, number one, the people around me have changed their perspective and mm, taken a different approach with our friendship in a beneficial way, to be honest. Um, Other people that I know that I hold near and dear to my heart don't care. That's fine too. um, and others have been like, "No, you're out of your mind." And that's a really interesting thing, was that there's been a lot of people, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot, um, that I know, I have experience with, and met with many a times. If I maybe not friends, but associates, but we know who each other is, and they were like, "Oh no, no, you're doing crazy stuff. I could never do that," and it was an immediate end to the conversation. And a lot of the times we're met with a difficult perspective, like, "Oh, do I push or what?" Everyone's on their own journey, and it's important that we respect that when dealing with people. Some people aren't willing to do. Remember the whole idea of if you want to achieve something you never achieved before, you have to do something you've never done to get there. It's a very simple thing. Um, but a lot of people aren't willing to make those sacrifices or changes. And that's not me villainizing or looking down on that idea. It's more so that that's a fair and reasonable choice, but then that's their choice, and I have to make my own choice. There are some things that I won't bend you on either. It's totally reasonable, but that's each person's individual goal. So by staying steadfast with what our goals are, what our principles, and that idea of trusting the process that we structure for ourselves each time, it means that we will cause that gravitational shift with regards to how people interact with us, and also what they expect from us in an exchange of friendship and counsel and all those things. So it's a key component of understanding how those things work. Because if you don't, what happens is you start, and this is, in my opinion, I think good advice for any relationship, uh, friendships, romantic, whatever it may be, but just in general, is the idea that you have to stay firm on your principles, because that's exactly what they are. They're the foundation that creates the person inside you. When you don't stay fast to those principles, what happens is it weakens your foundation. And with a weak foundation, you cannot build. That's just factual. And uh, I know for myself that has always been an issue too, is that certain principles I thought were malleable, let's say, and that's my own foolishness. Uh, no one's perfect. No one's anyone who says they're perfect is just a bold-faced liar. So it's the same idea when people say, "Oh, trust me, I know what I'm doing." Definitely not. And that's why is when we create an adaptive process like what I'm going through right now, which is individual to each person, that has been one of the main staples. Is there are things that can move and things that can't. The things that can move should move, right? The things that shouldn't move, Better not, because that will weaken that entire foundation. So the idea or the uh, thought process of being able to push forward has to come from a key component of showing ourselves to be more reliable to ourselves and our principles. And that way we will cause, because we can't demand things of other people. That's not reasonable. It's not fair. And it's burdensome to those around us. It's not something you can do. So, knowing full well that it is a key component to our uh, growth towards our goals, that means that one of those things is that we have to um, show that we are not movable in that fashion. And that means that we will slowly change those attractions and distractions in our lives to create something of positivity and mm, encouragement instead of uh, people who would happily kick your feet out from under you. So I think I'll leave it there with regards to that. But the idea is that, if you live the change that you want to be, then you will definitely cause those changes to happen in time. But patience and perseverance is, of course, always the key. So, as I said, my name is Dina's Genetic Marvel. You can find me on all social media. I am trying to grow this, so I do release things on a daily basis, as I think this is beneficial. So if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, share this with anyone that you may think may benefit from this knowledge. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will happily respond as best I can. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.